Hi, Mike Delisio from Solo Mode Games. You know, one of my favorite video games is Zelda, and I always thought it would be great if there was a board game that could kind of capture the feel of Zelda. Is Tiny Epic Quest that game? Well, we're going to find out. Tiny Epic Quest is a 1 to 4 player game by Scott Almes and publisher Gamelyn Games, where you are going out on different quests. And over the course of days and nights, you're trying to position yourself across the world map in a position to be able to complete these quests, fighting goblins, exploring temples, learning magic spells, visiting mushroom grottos, things along those lines. This is one in the line of Tiny Epic games, all of which can be played solitaire, and so today's session is going to be a solitaire session of Tiny Epic Quest. Let's go to the table and take a look. Okay, here we have set up for the solo version of Tiny Epic Quest. The setup is not terribly different from the multiplayer game. Really the way it works is you're going to set up a pattern of randomly chosen regular cards that kind of go in a cross here. And then you're going to take the 4 starting castle cards in the 4 player colors, green, red, yellow, and blue, and you shuffle those up randomly, and then you place one at the corners of that cross. I happen to choose the blue player, so my starting castle is right here. And then you take the remaining regular cards and you place them in the outer areas where are going to be called coast cards. Your castles are technically on the coast too. Anything that's along the outside is considered coast. In this you get a somewhat random setup of a map. You also are going to place on all of the goblin portals these goblin tokens, and this is what's called the passive side. The green side is the passive side. The red side is the aggressive side, and I'll explain that as we get to it. But basically all of the goblin areas have been seeded with goblins. I'll explain how those go. The only other thing that's different really as the setup goes in a single player game is that this is the magic track, and if you look here, this is designated for the single player. This is the multiplayer, and there are some differences that I'm going to explain as we go. Mostly those differences are taken note of in the resolution during the during the night phase. So just to explain that, the game is played over 5 rounds, and here's our round tracker, and it also doubles as a end of game scoring guide. You have your 5 rounds here. Along here you're going to see how you gain points during the game. You can earn points in 3 ways. The number of spells that you've learned, the number of quests that you've completed, the number of goblins that you've killed, plus legendary items. Each player starts with 3 legendary items that they could potentially gain. And so what you do is you basically add all of these numbers, and in some cases you'll see there are negative numbers, so you need to do a certain number of things to get out of the negative. Like in the case of the spells, you have to learn at least 3 spells to get into the positive. You'd get 1 point for learning 3 spells. You add all of those points up, plus potentially the legendary items that you may or may not learn, and that's going to be your score. And in the solo game, before you start, you're supposed to choose a target score. And if any of you have watched my videos before, you'll know that I'm going to go for a I'm going to go for the lowest possible score here. I'm going to shoot for the peasant ranking, which means that my goal is to gain 40 VP by the end of the 5th round. We will see. I was not able to do so so far. We'll see if we can change things up. The only other thing to take note of in the setup is that here we have our quest deck and 3 face-up quests to hopefully begin to try to complete. You have to make sure that you have at least 1 movement quest and at least 1 treasure quest, and we do have that. If you didn't, you would have to cycle those until you got through some. So I have, it looks like 1 movement quest and 2 treasure quests. My first movement quest here that I have possible for me is to light the cursed beacons. And to complete this quest, I have to have all 3 of my heroes on separate map cards of the coast. If I did so, I would place this beneath my player mat to show that it's a completed quest and immediately gain 2 hearts and 2 power. The issue with that being is that at the beginning of the first round, I'm at my max power and max heart. So it's not worthless to gain that because, as you saw, you need to gain quests to gain points, but it's certainly not going to get me the benefits that it could if I was lower on health and power. You start the game with a max power of 3 and a max health of 6, and the max are denoted here. Those can move throughout the game. You gain more potential maximum health by slaying dragons. For each dragon you've slayed, you move your maximum potential health token up 1. For power, you gain that through gaining powers in magic. You go up 1 per magic level that you have gone. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The day phase, as I said, is first, and then we'll have the night phase, and that will be a complete round. The way that the day phase works is a bit different in the solo game. You have 5 potential forms of movement, okay? I'm going to start, I'll put ship last. All right, we start by raft. By raft, you're just moving vertically on a river space. So that means that each card is a different piece of the map, and I started on this card. So this means if I chose the raft movement, moving vertically, I can move to this card, or this card. I can move to either side of whatever card I move to. So say I moved by raft, I can move to this card, and then I could either visit the green player's castle, which would gain 1 power and 1 health, although right now that would do me nothing since I'm at max, or I can go over here to this shrine and try to learn the level 4 spell, which would not be a good idea. I'll explain why in a bit. Consequently, I can go here to either side, here to either side. Okay, so that's by raft. That's just moving vertically. Next, you've got moving by horse, which is moving horizontally on the roads. Okay, so in this case, if I chose a horse, I can move either to this card, or this card, either side. All right. Then we've got by foot, which is just 1 card in any direction, and that's orthogonally or diagonally. All right, so if I chose to move by foot from my starting castle, I can move to this, or this card. All right. By griffin is diagonal. All right. Pretty self-explanatory. I can move diagonally as far as I'd like to in any direction. So if I chose griffin from my starting card, I can move here, here, or here. All right. And then finally, we've got by ship. And this is by coast to any other card. Okay. So the coast, as I mentioned before, are all the cards along the outside here. All right, all the cards along the outside. Basically not the starting center cross cards. All right, now in the solo game, what you do is you shuffle this deck, and I'm just going to shuffle under the table so I can't see what I'm doing. And then after you've shuffled them, you're going to take 2 of them. All right, let's say just for example, I shuffled them and I had raft and griffin. I would choose one of these 2 cards. I would denote that I've used it by flipping it, and then I would do my movement. Then on the next turn, I would shuffle, take 1 more, and now I would have these 2 to choose from, by ship or by foot. Pick 1 and flip it over. Then I do that again. I have here by horse, by ship. I pick 1, do it. And then finally, I'd be left with the last 2 cards. I'd pick one of those 2, I would choose it and do it, and that would take me to the end of the day phase. There's always going to be 1 movement card that you have not used. That's the way it's going to work. There's always going to be 1 movement card that you have not used. All right? Once you've done that, you go to the night phase, and you'll be rolling your dice there, and I'll explain how that works. All right. So with that being said, I think we have enough to get the basics to go ahead and get started. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling these cards and get ready to start day phase 1. Okay, so here we go, day phase of the first round. I'm going to shuffle my movement cards underneath the table so that I can't see what is coming up. I only have really one movement quest to even be considering this first round, and that is getting 3 heroes on separate map cards of the coast. Okay, so my first choices are by horse and by ship. All right, well, the other thing I want to be thinking about is what I want to try to complete during the night phase. And my inclination is to try to be as diverse as possible, you know, when I can, to try to do different things during the night rounds, potentially attack a goblin, try to maybe learn a spell or two, or gain a couple levels of spells. The way the magic track works is that if you look along the bottom here, you've got different symbols that relate to the different levels. So on any given phase, you really can only go maximum 3 levels, okay? Because you have to be on the right obelisk, the right spell obelisk. So if I wanted to learn this level 2 spell, I'd have to have an adventurer on that scorpion obelisk, and then I would have to gain get the magic tracker up into this 2, because that means that you're moving it 2 levels beyond where you're currently at. I start at 0, so if I wanted to get to that spell, for example, I'd have to be on the Scorpion Obelisk and get the magic track moved here, and then rest before I got exhausted to be able to learn 2 levels of spell. If I wanted to get to 3, I'd have to get to that crab, I think that's a crab, get to that crab obelisk, and then get it all the way up here. As you move the magic track up, it gets more and more dangerous, because the things that could hurt you more. You gain less of the good stuff like power, and so it's definitely a push your luck. The higher you move up the magic track, the more dangerous it gets. So I'm going to potentially wanting to look at finding the obelisks that get me the level 1 or 2 spell, maybe fight a goblin, potentially get into a temple. All right. The other quests I have out here for the night phase is the Shadow and the Fire Temple, and so potentially I'd want to get to one of those. All right, so the first thing I want to do is decide whether I want to go by horse or go by ship. I think, let me first look at my spell possibilities. This is a dragon spell, that's too far along. That spell is too far along. Well, this might be a good option. This is the Scorpion spell that I was talking about, and that would allow me to learn that spell. I'd have to get the magic into level 2, so let's go ahead and go coast to any other coast. Let me make sure that I can go from my... Yes, okay, so from on the perimeter of the land map to any other map card on the coast. All right, so I'm going to flip over this by ship, take one of my adventurers, and I'm going to go along the coast here and get onto that obelisk there, okay? I also now are one third of the way to lighting the cursed beacon, or cursed beacons. All right, so now I shuffle up cards, bring out one new one. I've got by griffin and by horse now, all right? So my options are by griffin or by horse. All right, if I go by horse, I could get over here, attack a goblin, and I'm also going to be on a coast. That's probably not a bad idea. Let's give that a shot. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going to go by horse, travel along this road, and get ready to attack that goblin. All right, so that gets flipped over. Now I've got by foot, by griffin or by foot. Well, if I pop down here by foot, I can go to this mushroom grotto and deal 1 damage to a goblin that my hero is attacking. He's currently attacking that. That would get me started on that on that particular one. The only danger there is I'm not going to be, well, I guess I am on a coast if I do that. I guess I am. Potentially I want to do that. Let's see here. I would not mind getting onto a temple, however. Yeah, well, let's see here. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to give that a shot. I'm going to go by foot. I'm going to go to this Mushroom Grotto, deal 1 damage to a goblin that my hero is attacking. So when you attack a goblin, it starts, the little diamond symbol there, which you'll see in a moment, is pointing up. As you deal damage, you turn it clockwise until you get 5 potential damage that will then knock it out, get it to that red symbol, and then you can claim it. All right. So basically I got 1 hit on that goblin, so I'll turn it 1 clockwise. All right. And now my last option is by raft, going vertically or diagonally. All right. Well, if I choose to move at this point, I'm giving up this cursed beacons. However, if I don't move, then this hero is not going to be doing anything during the night phase. And so the question is it worth that? Really, at this point, what I could do is I can move, if I wanted to, by raft. I could go here and start to explore the Ice Temple. I could go here and start to explore the Fire Temple. All right. And the Fire Temple, or excuse me, that's the Forest Temple. That's the Forest Temple. This quest, if it's not completed during the night phase, is going to get removed at the end of this round. The rightmost quest always gets removed in the solo game. You can't quite see that. It's having trouble focusing, but it is basically, this is the Fire Temple. All right. Take my word on that. So if I don't get to there, then there's really not much point. And the Fire Temple is here. I can't get to it, so I'm not going to even worry about the Fire Temple. So I guess my thought is, do I go up here to the Ice Temple and not worry about this for now? I could go to the Shadow Temple if I go by Griffin. And the Shadow Temple here would allow me to get the shield or the gemstone, which would allow me to convert hearts into power. Let's do that. Let's go by Griffin. We'll go diagonally. We're going to go to the Shadow Temple and we're going to try to complete that quest of the discovering the last treasure. Okay, so now I've done 4 movements. That's the end of the day phase. Now we go into the night phase. At the beginning, you choose whether you're going to adventure or rest. Well, this is my first go, so I'm certainly going to be adventuring. All right, what you do is you roll the 5 dice, and it's got an order of operations that it's important that you follow. The first thing you're going to do is any of the goblin faces that are rolled, you're going to take damage for that. And that's going to depend on what level of the magic track you're on. At the beginning, each goblin face is going to do 1 damage. Then you gain power. Third, you move the magic tracker along the track according to the number of the faces rolled, and you could potentially take damage. And then you resolve your torches, scrolls, or attacking goblins. In my case, I'm really only going to be interested in torches because I'm on the Shadow Temple, which takes torches. All right. So the things I really need to be looking for are hits on goblins, torches, and magic level. All right. So let's roll these up. I've got 6 health. All right. So the first thing you do is resolve the goblins, which unfortunately is not great. I took 2 damage right off the bat. In the first level, each damage costs 1. Now, one thing I can do is I can spend 2 power to defend 1 dragon or 1 goblin attack. And I think I'm going to do that. I'll go ahead and spend 2 power. It takes me down to 1 power. And now instead of getting hit with 2, I'll just get hit with 1, knocks me down to 5. Then there was no magic roll, there was no power roll, so in any order I'll go ahead and do 1 damage to this goblin. The scroll does nothing for me. The torch allows me to move one space. You can see these either have 1 or 2 spaces on them. I'm going to use 1. The other thing you can do if you have, excuse me, if you have the power to do so, is you can spend 2 power to advance either 1 torch or 1 scroll, or add that to a die roll. I've used my 2 of my 3 power already to block one of these goblin attacks, so I cannot do that unless I get some more power. All right, I'm going to push my luck. I'm not going to rest. I'm going to keep adventuring. All right. Let me move these dice where you can see them. I'm rolling a lot of scrolls, which do nothing for me. I'm rolling no magic, which is quite unfortunate. All right, I have to take that damage. I have 2 hits for the goblin, so I'll do that. 1 and 2. 1 more hit and that goblin is defeated. All right, the scrolls do nothing for me, unfortunately. I'm going to continue to roll. All right. Okay, so starting to finally get a little something different here. First thing I do is take damage. That knocks me down to 3. I have to be careful. If I go down to 0, then I lose any progress I might have gained here. The second thing I do is gain power. I have 1 power more, so now I have 2 power. Next thing I do is move the magic up 1 up the track. I'd really like to, I need to move that quite a bit more if I have a hope to learn that spell. And then I do get to knock out this goblin. He's going to just come to my player board, and that's going to allow me now to move my maximum health up to 7. It doesn't move my health up to 7, it just means that my maximum health is now, I could potentially get it to 7. All right, I'm going to take a risk and keep going. If I were to unfortunately roll 3 goblins right now, I could block 1 of them. So as long as I don't roll 4, I'm not knocked out in this particular. Okay, so I rolled 1 goblin. I wish I were getting a bit more power here to help block some of this. So I'm going to go ahead and take that damage for now. Move the magic up 2. All right. That does me nothing now, and I can move 1 more torch down. All right. All right. I'm going to take that risk. It is definitely risky here. I'm now wondering if it's unlikely that I'm going to learn that spell. Okay, so 1 damage. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 of my power to block that damage. I'll gain 1 power back. Okay, now 2 magic. That gets me into the level 1. Now that's going to change what happens when I roll these dice. Now that I'm in the first level, the first goblin will still give me 1 hit. The second goblin will not hit me. The third goblin and everything after that would do 1, but I don't gain any on the first power. All right, so I moved up, and now I have 1 torch. I don't have enough to get down there. If I had 2, I could spend 2 to give me a second torch to move me down that track. Unfortunately, I don't. All right, I'm going to take that risk because I would really, really like, if I can get 2 more magic, then I can at least get that spell. All right, so here we go. I'm not resting. I'm taking a risk here for sure. Okay, now this first goblin still does a hit on me, so I'm down to 1 health. All right, this power normally I would be able to take, but now I'm in the second level. I don't get a power for that. All right, 1 more magic. I'm still not quite there. 1 torch does nothing, and that scroll does nothing. All right, so now I really have a choice to make. Honestly, not much of one, because I guess the biggest thing would be that I would lose my progress in the Shadow Temple. You know, I'm not going to learn this spell unless I gain another magic. I've already attacked that goblin. I'm pretty sure that once that goblin is attacked, I better check that. I better make sure that that goblin is mine, even if I don't rest. That's actually something I need to... Yes, I'm okay. It says if you rest or exhausted before you can defeat a goblin, it must leave the portal. All right. When you defeat the goblin, you collect it immediately. All right, so here we go. If I roll even 1 goblin face here, I'm gonna lose out. I did not. Amazingly, this worked out very well for me. Okay, no goblins, no power, but I did get into that second level of magic. This hit does nothing for me. Okay. All right, well, it wasn't a great first night phase, but it was not horrible either, because I'm going to now rest. And what that means is that all heroes on portals, obelisks, or the last place of a temple track must return to your castle. So he's going to return, was learning that spell, he's going to return to the castle, and because he was on that correct spell and we are at level 2, I now can move my magic fairy tracker over to level 2 of the spell. All right, so I did that. I can gain 1 health or 1 power. I'll go ahead and gain a health there. All right. He did not get to the end, so he's going to stay there. He's going to come back, and I will gain another health, because I'm a little concerned about the amount of health that I've got myself knocked down to. All right. He's going to stay there because he's not on the last track. Now he can move if I choose to. All right. Now the magic tracker goes back to the beginning. We move on to round 2. Flip this over. Now, at the end of the round in the solo game, what you're going to do is you are going to choose 3 of the goblins that are on the passive green side, and you're going to turn them to an aggressive red side, which means that to move through a card that has an aggressive goblin, you have to pay a power. It limits your movement. So I'm going to start looking at places that I'm hopefully not looking to go through. I'll flip this one over. I will flip this one over. And I'll flip this one over. Okay. Then you add a passive goblin to any open spot, which this is an open spot because I took that out. Also, I did complete a quest. All right. I completed the Shadow Temple. Oh, no, I did not complete the Shadow Temple. I'm getting way ahead of myself there. I wish I completed the Shadow Temple. I did not. All right. So this card is going to get discarded because it's to the very right. Now, I have one more chance to complete that. Put up a new card. We've got 2 movement quests now. This one, you have to have all 3 of your heroes at least 3 map cards away from your castle, counting orthogonally. All right. So let me make sure that I've completed everything I needed to for the end of phase or end of round 2. Moved the magic token back, flipped them. Okay, yeah. All right, so now these cards come back to me. We're on to round 2 of 5. All right, I would like to complete this Shadow Temple because it's going to be going away. All right. I also have not completed any quests. Not great. Okay, so first 2 cards I have are by Griffin or by Horse. All right, by Griffin or by Horse. Don't want to move him. I want to keep him there. Let's move by Griffin and go on to this grotto. This mushroom grotto allows me to advance one of my heroes 1 space. I can move him right there, and that would be great. I don't have to pay a power because I'm not moving through his card. I'm moving onto his card. So I'll go by Griffin. I will go right here, advance one of my heroes 1 space on the temple track right there. And get another movement card. We've got by foot or by horse. All right. 1, 2, he's 3 away. If I move here, I can have him attack a goblin. I'm going to take a... Oh, we're okay. Someone at the door, but nothing I need to deal with right now. I'm going to... I think... Do I want to do that? Do I want to attack a goblin? Then I can move him. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll move by foot. I'll move him here. He'll attack a goblin. Now let's see if I have completed the Deliver the Royal Decrees. 1, 2, 3. He's 3 away from him. 1, 2, 3. 3 away from him. 1, 2, 3. I think that's okay. Oh, wait a minute. I read that a little bit wrong. Okay. Have all three of your, at least 3 map cards away from your castle. Okay, well that does not work for that. All right. So I used Griffin. If I go here, I used Foot. Do I want to do that? I may want to reevaluate. Let's see. Could be looking at spells. Could be looking at, oh boy. Well, this is the next spell. So that might be a good idea. And then I'd only have to get magic to 1. All right, so I'll use by Foot to move here. Try to learn the crab spell. All right. Now I've got by horse or by raft. I can go vertically or horizontally. Let's see. Do I want to try to go for a temple? Wow. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move to this mushroom grotto first, and then go elsewhere from that. Okay. So I'm gonna go horizontal by horse. Move to this mushroom grotto. Roll the dice and use any torches or scrolls to advance any of your heroes. So I'm looking for, if I get 2 scrolls here, I can I can complete that shadow temple if I'm able to get 2 torches. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to spend. I did not. That's a shame. All right, well, it was worth a shot. And now my last 2 cards, I can either move by ship or by raft. I think I'm a little worried about health. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go by raft, go down here to this mushroom grotto, gain 2 hearts for every hero, each hero you have outside of your castle. I have all 3 of them, so that would be 6, but that's going to just take me up to my max. So that was vertical. All right. So at least gets me up to my max health. I am not able to complete either of these movement quests. I really need to get this one done so that I don't lose out on that. All right, here we go. We're going to night phase. Oh, lots of damage to goblins, which does nothing for me. All right, so I don't take any heat from goblins. I don't have any power that I've gained. I do move the magic track up 1. That scroll does nothing for me, so I'm going to keep on going. All right. 2 hits from goblins, unfortunately, so I take 2 hits down to 5. No power. 1 magic. So I move up there. All right. And that scroll, again, does nothing for me. I'm not rolling terribly well. I'm going to continue. Still keep taking hits from goblins. All right, so there's 1 there. I do gain 1 power. All right. I'm going to move up 2 on the magic track, which puts me to that level 1 that I need. And 1 torch. I'm going to spend my 2 power to gain a 2nd torch so that I can explore that shadow temple and I can complete that. All right. So at this point, there really is no reason for me to continue because I've completed everything I can complete. He can't do anything. He will learn that spell if I rest now, and he will have explored that shadow temple if I rest now. So I go ahead and rest. All right. Starting here, he is on the crab obelisk. That is 1 spell above where he's at, so I can move that there. Okay. He comes back home to the castle, which is right there, and I'll go ahead and gain a health. All right. He is a mushroom grotto. He's going to come back. All right. And I'll go ahead and gain a power. All right. He is on the last space of the shadow temple. So he discovered lost treasure. I go ahead and I get this, and I'm going to get the gemstone as well. Okay, so you go to the item rack, you take that gemstone and you put it on the corresponding hero. There you go. He comes back home. He's going to gain I'll take a health. All right, and so now at any time I can convert health into power, but not the other way around. All right. The magic goes back to the beginning of the magic track. We go to round 3. I have to flip over the last 3 gremlins, or goblins, to their aggressive side, which means it's going to get harder to move. There are no new goblins to fill. All right. Okay, so these move down. The rightmost quest had been taken, so these move down. Now, honestly, I think the way the rules are written, I probably have to burn that last card. Because when you complete a quest, you immediately take it, things shift down and it gets refilled. At the end of the round, in the solo game, you always have to discard that last card. So I think that it is always discarded. Yep. All right, so this one goes away. All right. Oops. That one goes away. These shift down. New one comes out. All right, so we've got 2 movements quests and the Shadow Temple treasure quest. All right, so let me gather up my movement cards. We're in round 3 of 5. Not doing so hot, quite honestly. I can only move through 1 aggressive goblin right now. Oops. All right, so take 2 cards. Oops, I took 3, so let me do that again. 2 cards. We've got by foot or by ship. All right. I really need to start fulfilling some quests, so I think what I need to do is see if I can get some of these here. Have 3 of your heroes on separate map cards, not connected to the coast. So that one should be relatively easy for me to do. All right, not connected to the coast. So they basically have to be in this kind of configuration on these 5 cards. All right, so let's go ahead and go. I don't want to go by ship because I don't want to be on the coast. So let's go by foot and explore the Ice Temple. All right, so he'll begin to do that. All right, the next card I have is by raft or by ship. Well, let's go ahead. I'd have to spend 1 to go through that. Okay. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go by ship. I'm going to travel around. I have to go through that card, so I have to spend a power. Down to 0. I'm on this card, so I don't spend a power. And this gives me 2 power for each hero outside of my castle. I now have 2, so I'm going to gain 4, but I only have a max of 3. All right. I've got by raft and by griffin. And so if I go by raft to... I'm going to try to learn this spell. It's 2 levels ahead of where I'm at. I'll go by raft and go here. Try to learn that spell. And then finally I've got by griffin or by horse. And if I go by griffin here, I'll be able to complete that Defend the Inland Region quest. Alright. Okay, so I'll go by griffin. I'll go here to attack this goblin. That's going to immediately allow me to complete this quest. Have all 3 of your heroes on separate map cards not connected to the coast. And by doing so, I take any goblin token in play and not attacking another hero and place it into my score pile. All right, so I get this quest. All right, that goes underneath my card. I get to remove 1 of these goblins and put it into my score pile, which is great. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and get rid of, this one. All right, that's going to be in my score pile. I refill that quest, And all right. Okay, so now we're moving on to the night phase. Here we go. I need to get my magic level up 2 to be able to learn that spell. I need torches and I need to hit some goblins. Here we go. Okay, well, that's a shame. I got knocked for 2. I'm going to spend 2 power to block 1 of those, so I get hit for 1. I gain 3 of those power right back, so actually, let's see. Yeah, I was at 3, yeah, so I'll do that. I'll just get back up to power. Nothing really happened there. That's all right. I'm not going to rest. I'm going to continue to adventure. Okay, so I've got no goblin hits, which is great. I take 2 power, which I cannot because I'm at max. Magic level goes up 2, which is good. That needs to start moving up. And I do 1... oh, this should have been flipped over when I went to attack him. Sorry. Now I do 1 hit to the goblin. All right. Gonna keep going. No reason to stop now. Okay, I get 1 hit for a goblin. Do I want to take that? I think I'm going to block that. Knock that down to 1. Okay, so that takes that out. 2 up on the magic, which is terrific. All right. I do 1 damage to the goblin. And I move 1 on the ice temple. All right. I'm going to keep going. All right. I take 1 hit for the goblin. I move up 1 on the magic. I've got 2 more I need to do there. I do 1 damage to the goblin. Boom. And I can move down 1 more on the ice temple. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Oh, that's horrendous. Okay, well, 3 hits, although I'm in the first level of the magic, so the second goblin is not going to hit me. All right, so I'm going to get hit for 2 there. That's going to move me down to 2. I have no power, so that doesn't apply in. I do hit the goblin twice, which is going to kill him, 1 and 2. So he's dead and in my score pile. All right. But unfortunately, I don't go up any magic and I don't go up any torches. And things are getting a little bit dicey here. I only have 1 power. I cannot block any others. If I roll 3 goblin faces here, I'm going to get exhausted and have to return to my castle without learning the spell, without exploring the temple, which is not good. Okay, well, no goblins, but unfortunately I'm not in a scroll temple. If I were, I'd be thrilled right now. I do move up 1 on the magic, so 1 more magic without getting knocked out. I can at least learn that spell and stay there if I wanted to for the next turn. All right. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to hope that I don't roll 3 goblin faces. I did not. Okay, good. I think this is going to be okay. There's no goblin hits. I don't get that power because I'm in the level 1 of the magic. So unfortunately, I don't gain that power. This moves up into that level 2 magic, which is what I need. This 1 torch doesn't help me. If I had another power, I could have spent 2 of them to get it up there. These 2 now do nothing for me as well. I think what I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and rest. I don't think that I'm likely to gain 4 more torches before I get knocked out. All right, so at this point, he's going to come back home, and I'm going to go ahead and choose to gain a health. All right, he stays there because he did not complete his exploration. He did learn this, I think it looks like a lion spell to me because it's 2 spaces ahead of where he's at. All right, and he moved that far up. So I'll move that there. This is going to go back to the beginning. He's going to come back. I'll take a health for him. I will claim... What's that? Oh no, I'm not claiming any. I'm not claiming anything for that, unfortunately. All right, he stays where he's at. All right, we go to 4. I'm going to refill goblins. There are none that need to be flipped because they're all... Oh, this one does. I'll flip. I'm going to refill the goblin areas with passive goblins. Is that it? I believe that's all of them. All right. And now we're on round 4 of 5. All right. This goes away. Deliver the Royal Decrees is now no longer an active quest. I've got one night phase to complete the Shadow Temple if I want to do that. I'm doing horribly on my, honestly I'm doing horribly in general, but I'm doing particularly poorly in my legendary items, because to do this, to complete your legendary items, you have to complete these temples in particular orders. So for example, if I wanted to equip this sword, I would first need to explore, it looks like the Water Temple, is that right? Then the Shadow Temple, in that order. And if I did both, then I could equip that sword. If I wanted to equip the shield, I'd have to do the Ice Temple first, and then it looks like the, I'm not sure what this temple is called. Yeah, I'd have to find it on here. But anyway, Desert Temple. I'd have to do those in that order, and then I can equip the shield. So I haven't done anything along those lines. I actually haven't explored any temple successfully yet. Not great. All right. Might be a nice idea to try to go for that Ice Temple, though, because then I could potentially get that, equip the flute, and then move forward 1 on the shield. So I'm already on the Ice Temple. I'm going to keep him there, I think. All right. So my first 2 movement cards are Raft and Horse. To complete this, have 2 heroes in another player's castle. All right, well, that's interesting. I might see if I can make that happen. Just to get that, see if I can get that there. I could do that if I do Raft, and then if I do by boat, if I get that. All right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to move vertically by Raft. I'm going to move to the green player's castle. I'm going to gain a health. All right, so that's done. By foot, I can move here. Oh, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to move by foot, move diagonally here, advance one of your heroes 1 space on a temple track. So that's good. And then I've got by Griffin or by Horse. If I move by Griffin, I can go there. I can complete that Attend an Ally's Coronation. All right, so I'm going to do that. Go by Griffin. Gain a health. I can now attend an ally's coronation. I have 2 heroes in another player's castle. So I will claim this quest, and then also I can move any one of my heroes to any map card of my choice. All right, so I'll do that. Let's see, what do I want to try to do? Do I want to try to get some more spells? If I do, I can try to get maybe this bear-looking spell, which would be right here. Yeah, I'm going to try that. I'm going to move him here. All right, and then my last is by Horse or by ship. And I think what I might do is try to attack a goblin. I'll move by ship from here to there. Okay. Here we go. We're going into the night phase. This is at 7. This is at 3. All right. Here we go. I need torches. I need magic. And I need to punch some goblins. And I don't need that. That is exactly what I don't need, which is going to nail me right away for 3. Oh, that is horrendous. It knocks me down to 3. I get 1 on the magic space and nothing else. Does nothing for me. That was an awful, awful first roll. Actually, this should be moved down. I should replace that. Okay. Wow, that is so bad. Okay. I get knocked down 1 more. For that, I gain 1 power, which puts me at 2, so I can now at least block 1 from now on. I get a magic, and I've done nothing but roll scrolls. If I were in scroll temples, I have a feeling that would not be the case, but nothing much I can do for it. I'm taking this risk. This has not been terribly successful. I'm going to block that, spend my last 2 power to block this. I'll gain 1 power back. I will move the magic up to 1, 2, which gets me closer, and I can do 1 damage to this goblin. All right. Gonna go ahead and take a risk here because I don't think I've got many other options here. I cannot block any goblins. However, I'm in the first magic space, so I would need 3 goblins to be knocked out, which I can do. Look at all of these scrolls. This is ridiculous. Okay, no goblins hit me. Power doesn't apply. I move up 1 on the magic track, which is good because 2 more, if I can rest, I will be able to do that. All right, here we go. I'm going to take another risk. I have rolled no torches. Actually, I used the ship. Okay. This 1 goblin is going to hit me for 1. The 2 power, I don't get any on the first power, but I get 1 on the second power. Magic moves up 2. All right, so now I've got a real choice to make. I can learn that spell right now. I'm not going to successfully complete this goblin right now if I stayed here. I really think it's probably in my best interest to just go ahead and take a rest because it's not likely that I'm going to be able to do that. All right. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and rest. I'll flip this over and we'll just see what happens. Now, he did successfully learn that spell. He's on this portal. That's 2 ahead of where I'm at, so I'll move him up there. He's going to come back home. I'm going to go ahead and gain a health for that. He stays on that ice temple, which is not fantastic. He did not successfully attack that goblin. He's going to go home. That's going to go back to full health. I do believe that he's going to still be able to gain that health. I'm just double checking to make sure that he'll still gain that health. Yes. Right. Okay, it says if you rest or are exhausted before you can defeat a goblin, your hero must leave the portal and return to your castle. Damage dealt to the goblin's not saved. He resets to full health. Okay, so that's that. All right. This is going to go back to the beginning of the magic track. We're going to go to round 5, the last round. This quest is going to go away. These are going to shift down. I've got a movement quest. 2 of your heroes on opposite coasts in the same row or column. All right. And then I've got the Ice Temple and the Forest Temple. And here we go, our very last round, and what has been a pretty rough game, honestly. I haven't done so hot, but that's all right. The main idea is here to hopefully give you a feel for how the game is played. Okay, so first 2 cards we've got by Griffin and by Ship. It'd be nice if I could complete some quests here. So if I just go ahead and move by Ship, wow, that would not be a great time to do. Well, yeah, I could do, no, I couldn't do that. All right, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'd like to get to the Ice Temple if possible. I'm already on the ice. That's the thing. I've been on this Ice Temple forever and I just can't seem to get anywhere with it. All right, so maybe what I'll try to do, yeah, okay. Forest Temple is the other thing I could try. This is the other quest, is the Forest Temple. So, do I want to try to go to the Forest Temple, which is here? I couldn't do that. Well, if I moved him, which I'm not going to. All right, let's do this. Let's move by Griffin. I'm just going to go ahead and, for the time being, move him here. Gain 2 health for each hero I have outside my castle, which right now would be 4 health. 1, 2, 3, and 4 gets me back up to 6. All right, the next card I have is by foot. All right, so I can move by foot. All right, I'm going to move like this, go here, roll the dice, and I'm going to hope that I can somehow roll at least one torch. If I can roll at least one torch, then I can spend these last 2 power to get the other one and complete that ice temple. I did not. Look at that. Wow. Horrendous. Just incredibly bad die rolling. All right. Nothing to be done. All right. So I can move by raft or by ship. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and move here. I'll move by raft. Go up and try to attack that goblin. I can now complete Battle of the Twin Krakens, which 2 heroes on opposite coasts. I have 2 heroes on opposite coasts in the same row. I gain up to 3 power, but I'm at 2. My max is 3, so I complete that quest. And then finally, I can move by ship or by horse. And I think what I'm going to do is move. Let's move by. If I move by horse, all I can do is attack another goblin. I don't know that I want to do that. Yeah, let's go crazy. Let's try to learn this spell. All right, so I'll move by ship. I'll move from here to here. I'm going to need 2 levels of magic to get there. Let's give it a shot. All right, let's give it a shot. Why not? How much worse can it be, he asks foolishly. All right, here we go. I need torches, as always. I need to get some hits on goblins, and I need some magic. And I need to not roll so many gosh darn goblin faces. Here we go. All right, well, no goblin faces. Hey, what do you know? I'm finally able to... Okay, all right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. No goblin faces, no power. 1 on the magic track. 2 torches. I'm finally at the end of the ice temple. Now, I don't immediately complete that because I have to rest. If I get knocked out before that's completed, I lose that. So I have to be very wary of that. All right, so I'm going to continue on for now because I don't think I'm in danger of being knocked out right away. 1 goblin face. I think I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 power to block that. All right, so I don't take any hits there. I gain 2 power back, gets me back up to my maximum. I do 1 hit on this goblin, and that torch now doesn't do anything for me. Now I'm just gonna try not to knock my map completely out of whack here. All right, gonna continue. All right, we have 2 goblins. I'm gonna go ahead and block 1 of those. Knocks me down to 5. I'm gonna gain those 2 power right back. Magic moves up 1. All right, not too bad. Here we go, here we go. No goblins. Okay, this finally looks like we got a good one. Power doesn't do anything because I'm already at max. Magic, I move up 2. So now I'm in the first level of magic. I do 2 hits on this goblin. 1 and 2. All right. That wasn't too bad of a turn. All right, that stays at 3, that's at 7. All right. Oh, I should have been moving this up. Yeah, that was foolish. I've been losing power because I really, right now, my max power should be at 5. That's something I forgot to do. This should be up 2, right? Oh, it's per spell. 3 power per spell level, and I'm up. Actually, yeah, see, I've been kind of losing out power on that. That's my own foolishness. My health should be up a bit higher. I started at 6, so that should be at 9 now. That started at 3, and I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so that actually is at 10. Well, that's something I should have been keeping better track of. But hopefully when you're doing your game, you'll be in better track on that. But hey, who knows? Maybe I can use some of that on this last round. Why not? It's okay. It's okay. I don't think this would have been a stellar game even with those moved up. Okay, so 1 goblin hits for 1. I'll go ahead and spend the 2 power to block that. This first power now gives me nothing because I'm in the first range. This magic moves me up 1. All right, and I did not get to hit any more goblins, unfortunately. All right, I'm going to keep going. I need 2 more magic to learn this spell, and I'd love to be able to knock out that goblin too. All right, no goblin faces, so that's good. No power, so I don't have to worry about that. The magic moves up 2. That's terrific. Now I'm already where I need to be. I do 1 hit on the goblin. All right. So now at this point, I've got everything completed for this except for that goblin attack. I think that I'm in pretty good shape to try to go for it. If I roll all 5 goblin faces right now, then I will be exhausted, but otherwise I'll be okay. So I'm going to hope. Now, by saying that, it's very possible I jinxed myself, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to take a risk. No risk, no reward. All right. Okay, so that's not bad. I did not get that goblin hit that I needed so much. I'll take that hit. Knocks me down there. 2 power. The powers, you get no power at all in the in level 2 of magic. All right. And the magic's going to go up 1, and I have to be really careful because if I get into 3, then each goblin face smacks me for 2, and then each magic phase hits me for 1. So really, I'm going to go 1 more time here, and well, at least I'm going to go 1 more until I get into level 3 of magic. That's when I'll stop. I just gotta hope I don't roll 4. God, okay, okay, and I still okay. Well, you're hearing me say okay a lot. That knocks me down to 3. This does nothing for me. That moves me up into the 3rd level of magic, and I think it's too risky. I was 1 away from knocking out that last goblin, but I think that there's just way too much to risk, so I rest. All right. Now at this point, he did not successfully attack that kill that goblin, so he'll come back. That would get knocked back up to full power. I'll go ahead and give myself the 2 or the 1 health. It's immaterial right now. He did successfully learn this spell because we were at least 2 ahead on the magic track, and he was on that obelisk. He did finally explore the ice temple. All right, so luckily I was able to complete this quest. He will gain the flute, which I'm going to do just because I want to. All right, so now he gained that flute. He's got his nice little flute here. And then what this would have allowed him to do was it would have allowed him, the one with that equipped, he could have always moved with the by Griffin availability. There we go. All right. It's not going to apply because that was the last round of the game. Move that up 1. Okay, so now we have end game scoring. I think it's pretty clear that I did not reach that 40-point threshold, but let's see where we did get. All right. So we look at the scores here. All right, just to kind of give you a quick reminder there. All right. So for spells, I got up into 9. That gives me 13 points. That's not too bad. 13 points for my spells. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 completed quests, which gives me 6 points. 13 and 6. All right, we got 19 points there. Right? And then goblins, I killed 3 goblins and 6. All right. So 12 and 13, 25. Didn't get to that 40 points. All right, 25 points. Certainly not terrific. I also could have moved my shield up 1 on the legendary. I didn't get any legendary items. I had some pretty rough die rolling, as you were able to see there, I think. But hopefully you got a pretty good idea of how the game is played. It is pretty clever. I like the 2 distinct phases of trying to maneuver yourself to where you want to be so that you can do that, take your press your luck element in the night phase. So there you have it. Pardon me. Tiny Epic Quest from Gamelyn Games and designer Scott Almes. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great day.